Hey guys, I'm going to show you how to set up a Microsoft Word document so that it is in proper MLA format for you. This video will come in handy all throughout this year, so make sure you bookmark it and watch it all the time. The first thing you want to do is get logged in to Office 365. The home screen changed a little bit recently and you'll come to something that looks like this. What you want to do in order to get to OneDrive is click on the waffle in the upper left-hand corner. Then you are given these four options, and to get to OneDrive, then you have to click My Apps. Once the My Apps portion opens up, you'll get something that looks a little bit more familiar. And you want to click on OneDrive. Mine happens to be over on the right-hand side. Once you open OneDrive, you'll be greeted with a screen that looks like this. Mine obviously has a lot of files in it. Yours might look different. However, the first thing you want to do is click on New. And you are going to be creating a Word document. When you open a file and start a file in OneDrive, it automatically saves for you. So if your computer crashes, if something happens to the power, or if something accidentally gets deleted, chances are you might be able to still find it. The first thing you want to do, in the upper black bar, you'll see Document 2. You want to click on that and change the title of your document. My preference for Kelsey's English classes is to put English to whatever period number you're in, and then your name. That helps me quickly find access to your files when you share them with me. Then the next thing you want to do right away is click Share, and you want to put me in there. And you can search me by doing last name and then first name. You can require me to sign in. It would be preferable if you can let me edit the document in case I ever want to do review marks, and then click Share. I'm not going to do that right now because I'm not going to share a document with myself. Then the next thing you want to do is get this in MLA format position. The first thing you need to do is change Calibri into Times New Roman. And then you need to have a 12-point font. Once you're on that part, here comes the tricky part that a lot of kids forget to do. You need to click on the button that looks like this. It has the double arrows, and you get a list that looks like this. The first thing you need to do is click on Line Spacing Options. You'll notice that under spacing, you have before 0 point, after 8 point, line spacing multiple, and at 1.8. We have to make sure that this 8 point goes to 0 point. Otherwise, you're going to get weird spacing between your paragraphs when you push enter, and I will comment on the awkward spacing that you have. So you need to have it say 0, 0. Your line spacing should be double. It is always double when you are doing MLA formatted papers. If your screen looks like this and everything says left 0, 0, none, 0, 0, double, you are good to go and can click OK. The next thing you want to do is start with your heading. The heading is what we refer to as the left-hand column information that you put on every MLA document. And in my classroom, you should always put this on every document you do, whether or not I require it to be an MLA. So you put your first and last name. And make sure that you are capitalizing your first and last name. Some people are forgetting to do that. Then you put my name. If you prefer to put Ms. Johnson, that's okay too. But I don't care if you put Kelsey Johnson or Ms. Johnson or K. Johnson, whatever your preference is. Then you need to put the class. And I prefer you to put the period that you are in. And then you put the date, and this is where kids often mess up. The date on an MLA paper is a little bit ridiculous, and you have to follow this format or it's not MLA formatting. I prefer you to put the date that the assignment is due. So if you're doing this for your research paper we're currently working on in October, you're going to put 30 October 2015. Notice how I put the date, then the month written out, and then the full year. I don't use any slashes, I don't use any punctuation, and it looks just like that. Make sure you spell out the whole month. If this number here is a little bit off because uh, dates change or you weren't sure what the actual date was that it's due, that's not as big of a problem as long as you have it in the correct format. Then, in order to put a title, push enter and then center it. And just like we learned back in elementary school, all titles get capital letters for each of the main important words. Words like and of don't need to be capitalized. You'll also notice that I did not underline, I did not change the size of the font, and I didn't italicize anything. The only reason I would italicize something is if I'm referring to another title in my title, such as Of Mice and Men Character Analysis. Then I would make it look like this. And I would highlight what I wanted italicized because that's a title of a book, and I would write it like that. For this example, though, I'm just going to put your title goes here. Then I push enter, and I want to left align it again and push tab. This is where my first paragraph would begin, and I just continue typing. You'll notice that there's no extra space between my date, the title, and the beginning of my paper. Everything is consistently double spaced. When I write a new paragraph, let's say I'm just writing something and it goes down, make this look a little bit realistic, and that's the end of my first paragraph. All I do is push enter and tab and I start again right here. Many students want to add an extra space in here, and that is incorrect. Just push enter and everything should be consistently spaced out. Then what you need to do, and here's another tricky part, you need to put in your heading, or your header, excuse me. This is called a heading. Your header goes up here in the header of the paper. So you click on Insert, Page Number, and you want the one that includes the one on the right-hand side. This will automatically populate for you because Microsoft Word is really smart. And then you put your last name, and just your last name, and make sure you put a space here. Some students were forgetting to put a space there, and it was combining it with the page number. You'll notice that it is not in Times New Roman 12-point font. So we need to go back and change that. Then it'll be correct. When I click out of my header, you'll notice that it disappears. But when I go back into Insert, Header, and Footer, it appears again. And notice how this is right aligned. If you were to go into your header and footer and just write a number here, because you think that it's the first page and you'd put a number 1, what'll happen is on every subsequent page you write, it'll just say your last name and a 1. It won't automatically change to the right page number, which is why we need to make sure we're clicking page number and the one that's on the right-hand side. Once your paper is set up like this, you are ready to begin typing and can go from there. If you have any questions, re-review the video or come and find your teacher. Thank you.